Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Learning Share webinar. Um, Today's presentation is on packaging innovation cycles. For the presentation, all of our attendees' lines are on mute, but if you would like to ask a question, you can type your question into the Q&A section, which you'll find a button for at the bottom of the screen. We'll do a Q&A at the conclusion of today's presentation, but you're free to enter your questions at any time. I'm launching the polling feature for today's presentation. We would love to hear your feedback, and we do appreciate your responses. JT Krauss, Senior Packaging Program Manager at Adept, will lead today's presentation. JT will walk us through what a packaging innovation cycle is, its benefits for a packaging department, and how the innovation cycle works. At this time, I'll turn it over to JT to get us started.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Appreciate your time. I wanted to start off and go through what our plans are to achieve today. So I'm going to start by going through what innovation means for packaging, really how we play this into a packaging department, and what resources packaging teams need to have available to them to help make this successful. I'm going to go through the individuals and teams that will be partnering and contributing to the innovation cycle and how we can involve them. After that, I'm going to take you through what I call the innovation, the highway of innovation, to show you what the layout and roadmap is to developing. And finally, I'll wrap it up with what the actual full cycle innovation looks like. So what is the value of the packaging innovation cycle? Why an innovation cycle is the first question we want to ask. Well, by doing that, we start becoming the leader as a packaging team, not the follower of other initiatives and other groups. Helps create a company presence for the packaging team, as well as giving them an idea of what kind of key contributions they can make to the growth. And a lot of us in packaging have this that falls into place, but we're no longer the last thought. We're more of an early voice in the growth of the corporation. The idea is to push boundaries, and no idea is a bad idea. How do we achieve this? Well, the idea is to bring together as many key groups as you can, both internally and externally. You want to challenge your suppliers beyond their capabilities. As packaging engineers, we all hold suppliers in high regard and look to them for subject matter experts. We'd like to push them beyond what they can currently do and try to drive this growth and innovation. And in order to do this, we need to help rear this all together and be the leaders of it by hosting innovation seminars and concept reviews. So let's start off by saying, what is innovation? Merriam-Webster's definition is something new or a change made to an existing product, idea, or a field. I'm a big fan of automobiles, so I like to try to correlate it to this. And we need a kind of lay out that there's two ways to lead to innovations. So one can say that an invention is innovation, which is true, but additionally, there's other ways to innovate. And I'd like to show that Carl Benz was the first that invented the automobile. He strapped a internal combustion engine to a carriage and made an auto. That was the first idea of that ever coming together. But a lot of people misconsume that, or mistake that Henry Ford did that, when actually Henry Ford took an existing idea and made it better by figuring out how to mass produce and get it to the most people possible. And if we full circle this over the course of a century, Tesla is doing something new. They didn't invent the auto, they didn't invent the electric car, but what they're doing is they're innovating by daring automakers to develop them differently, putting different features into autos and thinking of an automobile in a different way. So what does this apply to for packaging? Well, innovation can mean a lot of aspects of packaging, depending on the field you're in, depending on the industry you're in, but they all have interesting correlation to one another. I'm going to go through and show that efficiency improvement can be a form of innovation, shelf life, not limited to food and beverage. Innovation can be something that creates brand awareness and marketing recognition. Innovation can be something as simple as a cost savings. Bottom line is that innovation can create a competitive edge for your products, both through product and packaging, which achieves growth. We can achieve consumer interaction better with innovation. There's ideas that I'll share with you that can correlate to that. Big topic that all of us are very aware of is sustainability. It's, I think, the hot button on everyone's radar, and innovation is going to drive better sustainability through our industry. We can use innovation to improve supply chain efficiencies. And lastly, I'll talk about how innovation can improve the customer, meaning our retailers' acceptance of our products. So I'll start off with efficiency improvement. Really, the idea here is to try to minimize changeovers, downtime. Using things such as automation can help reduce injury to workers, which would create that downtime that I referred to. It can speed up timings of lines. It can make things move at a quicker rate. Automation can help improve breakages and maintenance. We can have, and then lastly, optimize processes with a Six Sigma approach. Our operations teams are very helpful in trying to achieve this, and as packaging engineers, we're all closely related to the efficiency and improvements based on the materials that we provide into the operations segment. I'll talk about shelf life here. So innovation and shelf life can kind of go hand in hand. There have been many improvements to shelf life over the course of the years, many thanks to packaging. A lot of times when we think of shelf life, we only think of food and beverage, but it is not limited to that. Pharmaceutical, medical device, those are all areas that have shelf life problems or areas for repair and improvement. Environmental exposures, even for non-consumable products. So, I mean, we can think of the toy industry, and certain warm or cold conditions can impact the types of plastics that are used in consumer products. Same thing with batteries. Environmental exposures are important, and shelf life is a key factor to that. So some of those shelf life factors are improving barrier characteristics through materials, different sterilization steps and processes, ways to store packaging and improve shipping, and lastly, getting it down to the raw materials and the preservatives that are used in order to build shelf life and extend product length. Brand awareness is a big portion of innovation. A lot of us are tied to a major corporation, Fortune 500, and having brand recognition is a major aspect of what packaging can provide. We can achieve that through color, through graphics, through brand logoing, but all of that is translated through the packaging in a way that we could also call that persuasive advertising. So purchasing a product by an appeal to the needs that they have or an added value. Personalized packaging is an innovative way to drive brand awareness. First impressions are a huge portion of how something is taken off the shelf or purchased online. A lot of times, a personalized package can have an alignment with the quality that the brand may convey, and those types of messages can make an entire narrative for the brand and for the product. Crafted experiences are a more juvenile thing that are starting to emerge more and more. Custom packaging gives more experience to the customer, gives more than they are expecting, and therefore can translate to growth and to consumers repurchasing because they feel that they are personally hit or enjoying the package or product based on what appeals to them.